to the Current Connection podcast that we have here with the local union 278 Corpus Christi, Texas. Here we are representing the Labor Council for the Coastal Band here in Corpus Christi, Texas. I am your president of the Labor Council, David Caranco, joined by Gilbert and also joined by Chris.
I'm Jennifer Ellis. I'm the political director here at IBEW 278.
They are representatives from the Machinists Union, that is IAM Local 2340 out of Kingsville, Texas. And we're going to be talking about some current issues and current events that are currently going on right now with the IAM Local 2340. So, Gilbert, I understand that currently IAM Local 2340 and the company that you negotiate with are currently at the table negotiating for a new contract. Do you want to elaborate on that contract that's going on right now and the proposals that have been exchanged so far and where management's at and where the union's at as far as going, and getting to an agreement for the members of your local union?
Yeah, that's correct. We've been coming off a 3-year contract, and we're negotiating another 3-year contract. We're trying to. So we went into negotiations on November 1st in Fort Worth. Things were going fairly smooth as we thought. That's all we thought. Talking non-economics, economics, back and forth. But towards the end of them, about midweek, I would say, they dropped the bombshell on us about this insurance. And the reason it's a bombshell is because they were holding out on us, and they didn't want to give us whole numbers, no price caps, no actual monetary value, no coverage, nothing. And then, it just went downhill from there, because as soon as our business reps found out, they said the people of Kingsville, Texas, the base, they're not going to accept this, because they've been in this for many years, have had multiple negotiations, they've gotten used to certain coverages, to take care of their families and work on the base for longevity and for the pride in their work. And they just pretty much insulted us with a take it or leave it offer. So we didn't halt the negotiations, but we struggled through. We kept pushing, still trying to be good stewards of the contract and have good faith within the company, but they wouldn't budge. So it forced our hand. We finally had a strike vote, which doesn't mean we're going on strike, but it was just giving us the ability to strike if we couldn't come to terms. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's, the world stage with insurance and all that. We're just, I guess we're the guinea pigs of how things to come for multiple contracts, multiple people, the country in general. So that's kind of where we're at.
All right, Gilbert, tell me, you and Chris, let me know, how many members do you represent at Local 2340?
NAS Kingsville has 678 members there. 340 has 4 branches: Laredo, Kingsville, McAllen, and what's the other one, Gilbert?
Del Rio.
Del Rio.
Del Rio.
Yes.
Yeah. For the local.
For the local, yeah. But this contract's just for 2340.
Got you.
For the T45 contract.
T45 contract.
So how many members is this contract directly affect?
This one specifically directs 685 members.
685 members.
Yes, T45 Kingsville, yes.
And Meridian.
It affects Meridian also, but mainly us back at home, and we're concerned about it. We had our vote to strike at 96% today.
So that vote to strike, let's talk about that here. And I know, Gilbert, you touched base on that with me a little bit before we started recording. You said that vote to strike gives the union the authority to strike if a deal is not met by the deadline, and the deadline being
January 29th.
January the 29th.
So yeah, it's another just a opportunity for the company to come back to the table to make it right, come to a proper negotiation to give us something that's fair.
Of course. And the union, the last thing that the union ever wants to do is go on strike. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. These people want to work. We're not, they're hard workers. They work for their money. They got, dirty hands, clean money. We're not asking for any special handouts, no bonuses, vacations. We just want to have coverage for our families, our kids, the community. We work it. We earn it. So we'd like to be able to enjoy it. We'll work for it and we'll pay for it, which we've been historically doing. It's never, I can't say it's never been free, but either way, it's been paid for. Sweat equity. We show up every day, 10, 12 hours a day. Some of these guys on the other side are still basically paramilitary doing 16, 24 operations going on boats, carriers being away from their family and doing their thing. But we're putting the work in. So that, we just want something to be respectful to us, as a workforce.
Yeah, yeah, and that's very important to capitalize on, Gilbert, is that the fact that you were working for the government. Your contractor that you work for works directly for the Navy, which is the government, the U.S. government. So I know that your labor directly affects not only the contractor you work for, but for the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, correct. Yes, U.S. Navy Marine Corps. We are ground zero for the Navy Marine Corps pilots in the fleet, and that's across the nation, not just here in Kingsville, Texas. They start here. Once they graduate school here, they can go to helicopters, they can go to jets, fighter squadron support, anything.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of people relying on us to put out safe flying jets, and which we do day in day. No matter how much pressure, how many timelines, how many setbacks, we show up every day and we do the work and do honest work, and they're safe jets.
Yes. So let's talk about why y'all were pushed into a corner, and y'all the reason why y'all got approved to go on strike is it because you're talking about insurance and the cost and the premiums that are going to go directly to your members. And let's talk about what you have now and what the company is proposing that they want for the future, and how that is going to directly affect your rank and file membership.
Let Chris fill that one.
Yeah, right now we got from our last contract, we got an 80-20 split.
80-20.
Yeah, when we froze the terms of the contract on this last one, we froze the premium, so everybody was happy with that. This new contract that they're proposing has no premiums whatsoever, no cap, and no accountability to the company for them to tell us exactly what they're doing. Their offer was to tell us 30 days prior to our open enrollment what they're going to charge us, when that was unacceptable from the CBA employees. We didn't like that. Historically, our insurance has gotten worse every year with this company, and it's been a big issue. Every year, they've tried to put more and more and more of the cost towards the employees and less on them. And the guys, the union CBA members finally spoke. They're tired of it. 96% strike vote to turn it down and tell the guy, the company, we're tired of you guys making $1 billion profits and dumping all the cost on us to keep your pockets heavy.
Yeah, they want us to assume their debt, basically. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, so the union spoke loud and clear on this last one that we don't want this contract. We're going to turn it down. We want to go back to the table in good faith, talk again, start all over, and hopefully the company heard us loud and clear this time today. We do not want this insurance. We want something that's successful for everybody and that everybody's happy with, both company and union. We both move forward and continue this contract work.
Okay.
And the work that you're doing is so important,
Yes,
right?
yes,
You're
ma'am.
working directly for our United States government, which was closed down recently, and thank God that you guys were currently unaffected by that.
Yes,
Currently
ma'am.
unaffected.
But always just, in the background
Yes,
as a
ma'am.
worry. And the least that we could do is to take care of you and your family.
Yes,
To
ma'am,
make sure that
exactly.
you have health care.
And that's all we're asking for. We're not asking for much. We're just asking to be treated fairly and, like, decent people. We're looked at as, unfortunately, we're looked at sometimes as dumb mechanics, and that's all they see because they're a corporate side. And some of these guys are very, very intelligent at what they do. They're very skilled at what they do. And not very many people can do what they do, especially our structure guys. Our structure guys built these jets when they're broken, from spare parts, from, plain pieces of sheet metal to a part you couldn't believe they make, put this jet up and get it back going for these guys to fly safely on.
They're literally handcrafted
Yes.
jets from the origin that we put together by hand.
And they don't see that. They just, like I said, they just see us as a number and, a money sign to them and what it's going to cost them to go and how disappointed they are. It's going to cost them so much to keep these jets.
Right? And
Yeah.
who has the knowledge of where those rivets go really
Yes, ma'am.
matters.
Absolutely. We have a lot of books, but a lot of brains because a lot of it was lost in translation over the 20 plus years of flight and just pictures
Definitely.
and drawings and whatnot. Contract changes between companies and pick one. So we have a lot of knowledge and really good skill sets there.
And nobody trains on a T-45. We're a special force that has to do it themselves. There's not another trainer out there like it. So you can't come from another facility and say, I have this experience. These guys are specialists at what they do on this bird and how they get it done. And with this bird being an older bird, constantly breaking, these guys are constantly working on parts, trying to find parts, trying to get parts, get these jets up safe to keep the fleet flying, keep these pilots ready and get these wings out, and keep our military guys strong and the Navy guys safe when they're up in the air.
And that's the other thing that, there's a lot of federal holidays, but we don't get most of them. We're usually working. I'll give it more to
Mhm.
the mechanic side. We call it 300 side. Those guys are the backbone of Kingsville at the NAS Kingsville. They've been up holidays. They're always there. There's always the doors are always open. I forgot what commercial that was, but we're always open.
Mhm.
So we don't really get a break. Yeah, we'll get our breaks, but it's when everybody else is at home, relaxing, open the gifts or enjoying their turkey dinner. Somebody's working. It's hot, cold, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, these negotiations affect real lives. They affect that 685 workers and their families.
Yes,
This
definitely.
is a big group of people that are being affected.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we're here again with IAM leadership. Gilbert, you want to introduce him? Like, just say your first and last name and the office that you hold.
Yeah. A little bit of introduction. My name's Gilbert Cuellar III, originally from Rosenberg, Texas, but I'm currently the president of Local 2340, Kingsville, Texas. Our district lodge is out of Fort Worth 776, so they're also here to support us very heavily. Our business reps are here as well. Thank you.
And Chris.
And Chris Sanchez, born and raised Kingsville, Texas. Right now, I'm the VP and Chief Steward at ANS Kingsville.
Yeah. So what I really want to clarify is to explain things in terminology where everyday people could understand. So the 80/20, like you're saying, the company was paying 80% of whenever y'all would go to the doctor for any kind of a visit, whether it be you, your dependent, your wife, your child. They were paying 80% of that doctor bill, and the member would only have to pay 20%. So for $100 doctor bill, that's only $20 out of the pocket for the member, and
Yes, sir.
$80 out of the pocket for the company. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So so what they're proposing now is basically for the member to pay 100% until they say the deductible has been met, and they haven't even told you what that deductible is.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what I'm understanding?
To a point, yes, sir. Right now, they want to go nothing but high deductibles. Right now, we got our PTOs 500, which is a $500 deductible. They're
Mm-hmm.
wanting to remove the low deductible plans and go to nothing but high deductibles, $6,000, $12,000 deductibles with a 30% co-insurance, which means after I meet my deductible, I have to meet 30% of the bill also. And their excuse is everything's phasing out. And we've offered them other plans that we've seen other companies have, and other companies within their companies have, and they still declined it and imposed this horrible insurance for the members. AIMD just got a contract with a better insurance than we have right now, and they're still declining that, and not even they don't want to compare them, and they're within our own company. So it's a real big disappointment that they propose something like this and thinking that it's kind of a slap in the face to their members that here you guys take it or leave it, and this is what we're offering you, this is what we think about
Yeah, well, it's very important that we get the facts out and that not only your members know, but that the community knows exactly what's going on at the table here. Because when you go on strike, a lot of people get the wrong idea of what unions are, what labor unions are, especially here in South Texas. What labor unions do in South Texas is that we represent the workers. We represent the people who are out there on a day-to-day basis, out there performing the labor, making money for the contractor that they work for, and rightfully so. But at the same time, they work under a contract that they respectfully ask for, better wages and better working conditions and benefits that apply to them and their dependents, their wives and their children. And this is what y'all are doing right now. IAM Local 2340 is representing their members and at the bargaining table, and you're holding strong. And it's very important that you stand your ground and that you don't let up and you don't cave in because your members are directly affected by the decisions that y'all make at that table. And that's why we're doing this podcast. We want the community on top of membership to know why union leadership chooses the path that they do when they're at the negotiating table of the bargaining contracts that directly affect their members. And we do it to raise the standard. We don't do it for any other reason but to raise the standard of living on behalf of our members. And in doing so, we raise the standard for everybody, non-members as well. And that's why we stand in solidarity with IAM 2340. I'm speaking for IBEW Local 278. I'm speaking for all the affiliate unions that are a part of the Coastal Bend Labor Council. I mean, we are here to help you to mobilize and to strategize how you are going to get past this hurdle that you're currently in. And you just let us know, Brother Gilbert and Brother Chris, what y'all need from us to assist you in this rough time that y'all are going through right now. And I know whatever it is that you do need, we're going to meet we're gonna meet you there, and we're gonna make sure that your members are trying to understand exactly why y'all are battling the battle you're fighting right now.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is the biggest thing is the support, right? I mean, end of the day, we have to help each other out. You always offer your hand. Somebody
Yes.
falls down, you pick them up, keep them moving, keep digging in, keep driving forward. I'd like to kind of go back to your point of the strike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dig too much into it, but strikes are not good for anybody.
Yes, sir.
Some people, I don't care how much you make, I don't care what investments you have, I don't care doesn't matter. We don't live the same lives. Yeah, I'm making decent money, but I'm taking care of grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, medical bills. Maybe I'm sick all the time. Maybe pick something. Hardships happen in life. I'm paying 2 households, or maybe you had a bad go with the marriage. Now your child support. It doesn't matter. We don't get paid during strikes. We do, but it's, I don't know the exact numbers. Don't quote me. It's like $20-$30 a day. It's not a lot of money. It makes people gun shy when you bring that word up. We do not want to strike. That is our last resort. But if you force us into that corner, we will have to use it. But we absolutely want to negotiate first because we know the hardships it causes. We know different contracts some companies will go under because they just don't want to deal with it. We're not, I don't think we're in that situation, but we do still want to negotiate. We still want to have a great contract. We still want to get back to work, make money. This isn't about being greedy. This isn't about being proud. This is just about giving us what's fair, what we work for. So, the strike thing it's a very, very, very powerful thing, but I'm hopeful that we'll come to the table and come with an agreement here, relatively soon. Something honest, fair. Again, we're not greedy. We just.
I think that's that's correct. I think that's a big misconception is when we go on strike,
Mm-hmm.
the public sees us being greedy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not being greedy. We want what's fair for all of us. A misunderstanding is the guys at the table. We're not lawyers. We're not, politicians. We're nothing like that. We're mechanics off the floor
Yes, sir.
that are seasoned mechanics that are voted on by the people for the people at work.
Yes, sir.
So we're their voice because we know what needs to be done. We've seen what's been pulled over our eyes. We've seen what's been taken from us because we've been there 15 plus years. So when when we strike, if something happens that we have to strike, it's because the people know it's not fair and we know it's going worse from what they started 15, 20 years ago. So the support from you guys around and everybody else, the misconception of greed, we're definitely not greedy. We want to be at work. We want to be getting our hands dirty. We want those airplanes flying. NES Kingsville is a huge, huge economy moneymaker for Kingsville, Texas. Without it, that city dies. So the last thing we do want to do is slow anything down for the economy for that town. But we want to be treated fair and look like human beings and be treated as human beings on that flight line and that the mechanics in that hangar and in that room.
And that collective voice that
Yes, ma'am.
speaks up for the dignity of workers and their families.
Yes.
That's the power of unions. That's why we're all here. And so when you guys are under attack, we're all under attack.
Yes,
And especially
exactly.
right now, with unions
Yeah.
existentially being under attack across the country, this is our corner of the world, and this is where we can make a difference. So, you let us know exactly what we can do as unions, as a community. We need solidarity during this time.
Yes.
Right, absolutely. We'll definitely
Absolutely.
be reaching out for sure.
Mhm.
And the door's open both sides.
Yeah.
Further down the road, need us, we'll be more than willing to oblige you.
And support's going to be huge, especially this is the first time Kingsville's ever gone this deep to even think about a strike or possibly having one. They've never gotten this close to where it's a huge possibility that we will be picketing if this company doesn't see exactly how devastating this will be to the employees.
Yeah, and I just want to recognize, and I want to thank you for your leadership, but recognize the fact that y'all are at odds, and it's not even over wages. You're at odds over benefits, and that is even more important, especially right now with healthcare in this country and how important it is for everybody to have healthcare. It's important that our members know, that your members know, that this isn't even about the wages. This is about the benefits. This is about the direct benefits that directly affect them and their families. And that is why I applaud you and I recognize you for y'all standing your ground and standing firm and not letting up and don't let up. Keep your ground and keep your foot down and make sure that everybody is comprehending why you're fighting and battling this battle. And it's very important that people understand that because, like I said at the beginning, people get the wrong idea. People don't understand what unions are and what we do, but it's our job to educate them on why we do what we do. And like I said, we raise the standard of living for everybody, especially our members. And I just want to, take the time to recognize you for your leadership, guys. I applaud you, and like I said, we're here to help in any way, in every way that we can.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely be holding up a good fight. I'm just going to mention a couple of the committee that's not here. It's Carlos Chapa, Gerald Garces, and Thomas Hobbs. Valerie Villanueva is our business rep. Joe Aviar is our business rep, and Chris Sanchez. They're our dogs in the fight, and they're putting up a good fight. They're smart, they're knowledgeable, and they know what they're doing, and they're going to help us dig in, fortify our positions, and keep moving forward. I don't think we're going to cave in. I think we're going to do well. So we'll see what happens. It should be exciting. Hopefully not too exciting, but it'll be a good learning opportunity, to show the company what we can do, and that we're just not going to lay down and take whatever they give us. That's not in South Texas nature. That's not in their spirit. Everything in this state is fought for. The history of it, everything. So people the same way. They're hardy people. They will work. They will fight. So we're just hopefully everything works out to the best of our abilities and comes in our advantage.
Yeah, so those other officers that you mentioned, they're also serving on the negotiating committee with you.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, they're all committee negotiating committee members.
We definitely recognize and applaud their leadership as well, and we want to thank them for everything that they do on behalf of their members.
Absolutely.
Y'all are welcome on the show anytime to give us
course.
updates
Yes.
and let us know what we can do.
We welcome
We
that.
will.
Yeah, it's to when y'all know when y'all are getting the updates and at the table again, continuing the bargain. I mean, you're still 2 months out. What are we? November 25th.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You got your deadline of January 29th.
We got to have a closure. We can't just leave it open.
Yeah.
And you got to get the message out, and that's why we're doing this, so that members and the community knows exactly why
We fought and won the good fight. That's
Exactly.
what we're going to come back with. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, we'll absolutely do follow up. Further we get into this, and again, it's a learning curve. I'm becoming a little bit nervous first time doing this. Learning curve for everybody, but hey, learn from this. Learn from our negotiation, because this is setting the stage for future negotiations for a lot of companies or a lot of unions.
A lot of unions.
Learn from us, learn from our mistakes, learn from our wins, everything. Strategy. But you have to work together. Strategy only works if everybody buys in and pushes in the same direction.
Well, that's why we at the Coastal Bend Labor Council, we stand in solidarity with IAM 2340, and all of our affiliate unions that are a part of the Coastal Bend Labor Council will stand there and be there to support you in any way, every way that we can.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I guess with that being said, we encourage and we want IAM 2340 to keep in touch and follow up and let us know how the bargaining table is continuing to improve on behalf of the union. We want to welcome you all back, and so you can give us an update. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Stay current, stay tuned, and we appreciate you staying with the local current connection. Until next
Solidarity
time.
forever.